Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And this is...
It's Movie Time! All right.
Oh, Linda, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Linny, today is opening Diary of a Teenage Girl.
Yes.
Now, that sounds like a lot of fun to me.
When I was 15, the most exciting thing in my diary was, I hope Joel holds my hand in the movie tonight. In contrast, this 15-year-old Minnie starts the movie. She's walking across a sun-dappled park. She's proclaiming in her mind, I've just had sex. Holy expletive.
S.H.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the voiceovers have been spoken into her tape recorder that she's hiding in her bedroom.
Oh boy, that's waiting. That's disaster waiting.
Yeah, and the voiceovers are what drive the movie. That's how you know what's going on.
So it's a both humorous and serious take on a 15-year-old girl. Why not? Any 15-year-old girl is going to have a complicated life. This one just happens to be out there a little more.
Right. Maybe it has something to do with the movie taking place in 1976, hedonistic and hippy-dippy San Francisco.
Yeah, you got it. So almost anything goes.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby would tell you lots of quaaludes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
lots of drugs.
And lots of sex.
Yes. Minnie she craves to be loved, and she's driven by raging hormones, of course, because that's her age.
Yeah.
But she doesn't see the difference between lust and love at all.
Well, I mean, her having an affair with her mother, played by Kristen Wiig, by her lover.
Yes.
Then you can tell how it's the first time.
She's lost her virginity to this 30-something Monroe. That's his name.
Yeah, played by Alexander Skarsgård of the Skarsgård family.
Right, who happens to be her mother's boyfriend.
Yes.
And of course, she's lost in amazement. Someone wants me. Someone wants to have sex with me. As she tells the recorder. Suddenly, some of us in the audience, like me, get to be very troubled. It's like, hold up, this guy's a pedophile. Somebody call the police. Somebody tell her mother.
Boy, you are right. I mean, he should have been up for statutory rape. And not only does it not just one time, they carry on an affair. However, it is 1976. And I believe the laws may have been more lax at that time. I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just a property of the film that we are not to worry about the legal implications of her being 15.
But that's the first thing I thought of.
Sure.
Well, this is not good. Somebody help this girl. But there are only bad influences in her life. Her mother, played by Kristen Wiig, is living a life of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yes, she's a middle-aged woman who hasn't quite let go.
No, and then Monroe, her boyfriend, is likable, but he's also contemptible.
Oh yeah,
he has no moral compass whatsoever.
He's a charming doofus.
Yes.
You should never get involved with Minnie, but Minnie has a woman's body, and she has the enthusiasm of a very young woman. So I'm not going to excuse what he did. However, it's not totally fabulous to think that the two of them could have connected, which they did. Mm-hmm. But now, Linny, would I be correct, or would you say, okay, Johnny, you're just a little bit correct in saying that the movie attempts to show you the joy of being a 15-year-old?
She was very joyous, and one of the good things about this movie is the way the director balanced her joy and her enthusiasm.
Sure.
But at the same time, the viewers know that this is something that's very dark, and it could have been turned into a farce. But the director, held the line very well.
Interspersed, and one of the things that really helps me see this as shading toward a comedy, are the cartoons that appear now.
Oh yeah, but they're disturbing.
Oh, right.
I mean, at times they're pornographic. They're like drawings that Minnie has done of herself naked, walking around street corners,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, all these flowers and butterflies explode from her head.
Yes, it's great.
It's very psychedelic.
Yeah, I think even at one point they depict a penis.
Oh yes.
So it's quite now.
More than one time, John.
Her model is Aileen Kaminsky, who is a great graphic,
Right.
a comic book writer, who would married eventually Crumb, so she's Kaminsky Crumb.
Right.
But her stuff is very close to what I think our heroine
Yes.
wants to be.
And that's the only thing that Minnie has going for her. She does have dreams of becoming a graphic artist.
Yes. Yeah.
And these illustrations are just crazy. But you're also asking yourself, when is she going to wake up? This is doomed. This is not a good situation. She's going to spend years on a psychiatrist's couch going through therapy.
Well,
it's not good.
But don't you think that, notwithstanding the illegal circumstances of this, that she's growing? I mean, she's emulating the adults, and they're all
Right.
whacked.
Right.
But she's trying to make her entrance into the adult world.
Right.
It's really through sex that she's trying to do
Right.
this.
And she's not alone. Kimmy, her best friend, loves to describe her sexual adventures, but I think most of hers are made up. And then there's Tabitha, the streetwise young lesbian.
Oh, right,
that
and
Minnie gets involved with.
she connects with her
But
too.
Tabitha is sort of lost in a marijuana brain
She's
fog
in a
for
haze.
most of the movie.
I know, but for Minnie, our protagonist, that's another step. I mean, again, I'm not condoning any of her activity. I'm simply saying the way it is presented in this film, both by the director, Marielle Heller, who adapted this as the writer from Phoebe Glockner's novel, we're looking at a young woman, perhaps precocious, not perhaps, she's
She's
precocious,
very precocious.
who is trying to make her way by emerging into an adult world that's way too dangerous for a 15-year-old
Right.
whose mother isn't even
No.
overseeing her life.
Not at all. She's a bad influence, if anything. So, dreadful. Another good thing about the movie is the acting. I thought was fantastic. Belle, no, she's British.
She is.
Her name is Belle Powley.
You're right on.
And
She
she
is.
is perfect. You know,
Boy.
she's got these big, luminous, innocent-looking eyes,
Yeah.
and behind these eyes is a brain that is just going off the rails.
And she has a lush body for a 15-year-old, so you can see where she's in between this pubescent and adult world. And
Didn't you think she was troubled at all, though? Didn't you think she was?
Yeah. Well, yes. Let me qualify what I've said by saying her affair with Monroe eventually takes an emotional toll
Right.
on her. You are absolutely right. It is not all joyful exploration on
Right.
her
It
part.
gets a little dark in the
Yes,
middle.
it does, as it should have.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I really like about the film is that it doesn't pull any punches. But I guess most of all, I appreciate the fact that most films avoid the topic of desire and lust in a teenager. Woman,
Right.
a girl, they will avoid that. Men have it all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the things that I really like about this film. It attacks what is surely a circumstance for many young women.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're not as precocious as she, they're questioning, they're exploring, and what's wrong with looking at that? This may be a little bit extreme, but
Yeah, she was consumed by it.
yes, she was way over the top. And she even had some young men, I think, who weren't Monroe.
Right.
Who she was.
And one of them who she has a sexual affair with. I remember him saying something like, "Minnie, you're way too intense." Those probably aren't the right exact
No,
words,
it's okay.
but
Yeah.
she was just so she was so into it, and most 15-year-old girls would be a little bit more hesitant. Where she was out there, she was ready.
Lenny, the design on that, because you're an interior designer, the design of the film certainly reflects the multicolored nature of 1976.
Right.
I like one description of that, which I know you will appreciate. burnt orange and beige decorating schemes,
Oh, right on.
sheep fleece coat linings,
Yes.
and of course the soundtrack, which has glam rock that
Right.
includes T-Rex and Mott the Hoople and proto-punk, the Stooges, and television, all on the soundtrack. It's a
Right.
wonderful soundtrack.
And sometimes when they were in the living room and they would have there was a television show on that I went, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was very right on, that's for sure.
Well, Lenny,
Yes, Johnny.
you know, it's that time,
Oh yeah.
and we need to give a grade to this. And because you're a veteran of It's Movie Time, I'm letting you go first. I'm not
Oh,
being nice here.
I'm just so honored. Like I said, the film was very well made, I thought. It was well acted. But I found it absurd that one write-up called it a hilarious comedy.
Okay,
I think
that's
the
fair.
subject matter was just a little bit too disturbing for me.
Okay.
And for me, it was a bad trip. I'll give it a C.
All right, okay. And for whatever reason, and I certainly accept your criticisms, I saw the more joyful, as I always do, always see the more positive side of it and try to get through what would be the disturbing for a mother in particular elements of this film. And for myself, a father of 5 daughters, that it certainly resonated with me in many ways, but I still think it's a great film, and I'm going to award it a B.